Beleza, we're here. What's up, Diego? I was kind of a bitch and I recorded everything. We didn't have any pregame. What's up?
What up, man? Not much. It's been a long time since I seen you guys. Just me and you today.
Yeah, one of the
No,
putos is not here. And
yeah,
before we
one of the
go
big.
anywhere with this, because the other puto's not here and he's such a puto, we have to make this a public video. Can I get that commitment from you?
I'm good with it. Let's go.
It's fucking going public. All right, puto, you missed
Going
it.
public. He's the first one's going public. So if you guys,
Yeah.
so go ahead. You got this.
Well, no, because I gotta be honest. I don't think about it, but when I think about it right now, I just think what a dumb fucking conversation that was.
Oh, the last conversations with.
Just a
Look,
conversation
you
about
got to
going
remember,
public
if
and
we're
not
going
going
public,
public.
people don't know. People don't know. People
No, no,
don't
no, that's
know.
fine. That's fine. This is not one where I'm going to inform the people and give them context. I'm just talking to you
Okay,
right now.
fine,
All right?
fine.
Because, sure, part of, I don't know, enjoying something is getting to know it, but you're not going to get to know us the first time you meet us. So fuck that, and fuck you, and fuck Sao Paulo Football Club. They're not even in the.
Hey, don't
No,
say
I'm just
that.
kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But okay.
In any case, that's where my head's at. Where's your head at tonight?
Wow, you're still thinking about that. You're still thinking
No,
about
no, no, not thinking
you're
about it.
still.
Not really. I've been. This is
Well, it's
the
the
first.
first thing you brought up, so it's been on your mind.
But you're a memory trigger. You're a memory trigger. This is the first. When's the last time we did a podcast?
I don't remember. Right before I
Neither
left,
do I.
before
It's
school
been a
was
while.
over. In May, we did it in May, probably like the last week of May.
And it's almost the last week of June. So that's been a month. I will tell
Right.
you, just me personally, even when the podcast sucked, I have enjoyed doing them.
I enjoy doing it as well, but that's not
But
what we're talking about. I
no,
mean,
it's
great
not.
redirecting. We're talking about you being upset that
All
brother
right, you have a
Daniel.
theory. You have a theory that I think about it a lot. So
I
test your
don't
theory.
think it's a theory.
It has to be a theory.
You came out guns blazing, bro. You know,
Well,
let's
this is
get
not a
Fat
court of
Boy.
law, and this is not America, so I have rights. So I plead the fifth.
You're right. It's not America. So you got anything in the agenda today, or we're just gonna do this off the top of our heads?
Well, because it's been a while, I wanted to brainstorm, and I shared a message with you where I said I
Um,
wanted to do a podcast about yours and mine's personal experiences with Islam. I don't want to do that
oh,
tonight because I would like to
okay.
prepare a little bit for it. Not that I actually have a lot to
I
prepare, but
uh, I would like to hear like just off the cuff, like you know what I mean,
are you going to
straight
participate
out.
off the cuff? The reason why I said this is
I'm
because
I'm
you told
I'm
me you
an
want to
open
watch the
book,
game
man.
tonight.
I don't hide. I'm not the
Okay,
other
okay, okay,
guy.
okay, okay, fine, fine, fine.
What?
Then
But if you need time,
no,
bro,
I don't
I'll
need
give it
time.
to you.
Don't need, the truth is easy to remember. Fuck face.
My face is not very fuckable. Okay, there's
But I bet you've
has
used it to
no
fuck
penis has
before.
been through
So
this
what do you want
mouth.
to talk about? You want to talk about Islam? That's
No,
fine.
you could talk about whatever you want to. You had something lined up. We go with that.
I
If
have
not, we're
nothing
just
lined
going.
up. I have nothing
You
lined
have
up.
nothing.
I have nothing.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. I don't. Okay. Well,
You,
let's talk about what's going. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go.
no, I was just
Go.
gonna say,
Go.
you said you were gonna watch the game tonight. Palmeiras and Inter, Miami.
Okay. Yeah. So right now, what's happening today is what June 23rd. Yeah, Palmeiras and Inter. They're gonna play Messi against a Brazilian team. Should be interesting.
When does it
Uh,
start?
the FIFA Club World Cup. It's gonna start probably in like 20, 30 minutes.
It must
Um,
be the 11 o'clock game. They don't start at 10 here. I think it's 11 o'clock. It's an hour and a half.
okay, so
I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do both at the same time here, because my lovely wife is laying on the couch right now and she's enjoying the TV. So she's not hogging it or anything. She's just using her phone while she's on the phone. She's multitasking and she's looking at the TV. And it's really weird how she does this move. She's like fucking ninja, bro. She's like, her back is like, let's say the TV is you. Her back is the TV. She's on the phone and she could see the TV at the same time. It's incredible. You guys, if you guys could see this, this is amazing.
So let me ask you this
Yeah, she's
question
doing it.
because now I've got some context a little bit for the question you asked me
Go
earlier
for it.
today. Do you ever watch TV but also play with devices at the same time? Tablet, phone, whatever.
Yes, I do that. But I mean, what I was saying is that her back is to the TV completely. Like it's amazing. And
Why?
then I asked her, I'm like, "Are you watching the TV?" She's like, "Yes, I'm watching the TV." So
Because
yeah.
the TV.
Do I ever? Yes, I do. But I have the TV in front of me, and what I do, like for example, I was watching the game finals, Game Seven, Thunder versus Pacers yesterday, and whenever a commercial would come on, I'd pop my phone up, and then I would just look whatever it is, because I don't want to be manipulated by any commercials that are trying to sell me food.
What do you
So
want to be manipulated by?
I like to be manipulated by. That's a good question. I do enjoy the manipulation, but not by food and things like that. Nah, any other kind of manipulation. Throw me a car, throw me a prostitute. Throw me some underwear ads.
I'll take
I'm
one or
good to
two of
go.
each. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm good to go with that shit, bro.
I'm also
Let's
a simple
go.
man.
Yes, simple taste, simple taste.
Yeah, you got to keep
So,
it simple.
anyways, amazing. I'm gonna take a picture of this because maybe
Picture
if
of
you're
Giselle.
interested, viewers, whoever's watching, you want to see this. Oh shit, she's left. I can't
Linda's
believe
learned more Korean than Portuguese
she's
since she's
leaving.
been here in Brazil.
Would say what?
Linda's learned more Korean than Portuguese since she's been here in Brazil. She's watching from Brazil right now.
That's awesome for real.
Huh.
Wow, she's learned more Korean. Oh shit, she's learned more Korean. That's
I'm sure she
insane.
already knew some actually. Although she's had a couple of I'll give her a little credit, not a lot because she doesn't deserve a lot of credit. I'll give her a little credit. She's picked up a few words here and there, and she's able to allow Brazilians to talk to her, and then she responds with one or two word answers.
Wow, that's interesting. But hold on a second. She just left the TV. I think that means I can watch the game now. Give me
I'm
a
gonna grab a
second.
drink while you grab the TV.
1 second.
Yeah, yeah, it's
One
fine, it's
second.
fine.
Você não vai assistir, não? Eu não sabia. Eu não sabia que você ia pra Zoom. Eu perguntei, você estava assistindo. Não queria ser grosso. Eu não queria ser grosso. Opa, opa, opa.
Opa!
Okay, I'm back.
Opa!
Yeah, I hope you guys could hear that.
I just got back with my drink. I
This
only heard the opa part.
this one is going. This one, yeah, we definitely need to go live.
Figure
So
you were
let me
just
see.
coming back from a Greek wedding or something.
Got it. All right. So yeah, what else? What's up? What were we talking about?
So look,
About not,
don't rely on me for the questions. I'm not the host tonight. I just wanted to get together with you
not
guys and
this.
see if anything stormed out of our brains. I wanted to talk about the Islam thing only because I don't know, put it on tape and I can play it back to you if you forget about it. But I don't want to do it tonight because it seemed like you got the game on your mind, you got Giselle on your mind. Those are good things to have on your mind. It's not a judgmental statement that I'm making. Yeah. Just saying.
Okay.
But if you
Uh,
press me, like I said, I'm ready to go.
no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I don't have anything either. I'm good to go. Whatever. Wherever
So then
directions.
let me ask
Go
you this
ahead.
question. We'll talk about this current events, yeah? How
Okay.
did you
I like this.
feel? And I'm talking about your feely feels watching the game last night, the NBA Finals game.
How did I feel? I felt cheated. I felt cheated because we were actually going to get I felt like we were going to get a close game up to the very end, something that we haven't gotten since game one of the series. In a game seven, final game of the NBA Finals, and Halliburton, their best player, was having a good start to the game, and then just to see him come out of the game the way he came out, and to actually see the physical, like his calf, like
Yeah, that
pop
one
out,
I felt that one. I did not enjoy that.
like, and then him on the floor aggravating with pain, saying no, no, no,
Yeah.
and he's not saying no because he's hurt, or I'm assuming that he's hurt, or that he's angry, that he's hurt, or it's from pain. He's saying no, 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 no because he knows that he can't. His game is over. He can't go back in, and this happened very early on in the third quarter when
He
he
was
was
like 3 for
having
4 from three already at that point. When he starts hot,
exactly.
he usually is hot the whole game.
Yeah. So I felt cheated. That's how I felt. I felt like, it could have gone a different way, especially because not that I'm a Pacers fan, but I was I was hoping that they would win just because of the brand of ball that they play, the style that they
You want
play.
to know one
It's
of the
very
reasons why I
it's
like
very
Halliburton?
counter. Let me finish this point.
Man,
It's very counterintuitive to what the NBA stands for, which is individualistics, building superstars, marketing them, branding them. Um, where Indiana doesn't have those type of players and they don't have that kind of system that they play with. It's about the collective, it's about the team. And I think the last team that you've seen win like that, consistently win like that, they were the San Antonio Spurs. And that must have been like the worst time for the NBA because the Spurs, for most fans, they were boring to watch, but they were very successful because they played a team ball. They played, so
I like the Pacers, and I hate saying it because I mean, obviously, I won't like the Pacers if they ever play the Knicks, but I like the Pacers, and I like Halliburton, and I like Siakam, and I like them for different reasons. One of the reasons why I like Halliburton is because the league has become so PC, nobody wants to trash talk anymore. Nobody wants to hurt anybody's feelings, right? You could see
right.
Halliburton giving choke signs. You could see Halliburton doing the big balls thing against Cleveland. I mean, it's
Yeah.
fucking fun. It is entertainment. And nobody's, oh, every time you talk to somebody, it's like they all have PR training now for, like, I love watching the Knicks, but like, I tried watching, um, Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson's podcast a couple of times. Huge fans. I still think they're decent guys, but listening to them podcast or listening to them when they take the podiums after games, I just hear PR training. And it's like, it's not entertaining. It's not entertaining at all.
Yeah, I
I
think
like watching them play, and I don't have to be attracted to them personally in some sort of sense as a personality to enjoy watching the basketball. But when somebody brings something extra like Halliburton with I don't know if it's trash talking or theatrics or whatever, but he brings something to let you know, hey, this is entertaining for him as well. I like that.
I think what I think what you're bringing up, it it expands beyond basketball. And in the moment in time that we're living in right now, um, those type of things are looked down upon. And it's I, I I can't put my words to it right now, but it's a shame. What the NBA doesn't realize and what these people don't realize is that they would sell more when people were just being people, when we could see emotions, we could see raw emotions, the emotions that we saw with players growing up,
With
right?
Halliburton last
Um,
night, he cared about playing.
exactly. So like that touches people. Like well, that's what they don't understand. And that's why like that's how I felt cheated because man, when you see that guy in pain, like if you played any sports at all, you know that he cares. Like forget the millions and millions of dollars. Like he cares. You know what I
He
mean?
just
And
wanted to
he
finish
doesn't
the
care.
game. That's
He
all.
wanted to finish the game, bro. And like they don't realize you're gonna sell a lot more when you let people go, when you start like scrutinizing them every little thing that they do, and instead of putting up like just like you said, Jalen Brunson and these guys just we play really hard tonight, man. We just didn't do the right things. Come on, bro. Come on. What there was one technical in this finals
Like,
in
yo,
the
I got a
Knicks.
job too, bro. Can you just tell me what's up?
There was like one technical, and in the Knicks series, there might have been one or two. Like Jesus, like what are we doing? And you know what? I think for this new generation who has never seen that, let's say you were born in 2000, 2004, 2007.
Hmm.
You're never you don't know anything else besides this.
Yeah.
Like what do you tell those guys?
Yeah, there's a generation gap for sure. And again, I'm not being judgmental. I'm not saying right, wrong, or anything. We're just talking about something we felt like we missed out on in a basketball game, right?
Let me ask you, how do you think these players like hold it in so much? Like
I think
I
the money
you talked
helps.
about
I think the
PR.
money helps.
Yeah.
I think
You
the
talked
money
about
helps.
PR training and things like that. But even then, even the money and all these things, like you play sports, you're a competitor. Fucking up. Hold on. I hope you guys can't hear me. You
I
played
can.
sports, you're a competitor, you've been in a basketball court. There's some things that you just can't control. It's out of like, how do these guys hold it in, man?
Well, the real ones don't. Halliburton didn't hold it in last night. Again, the pounding on the floor, you felt the pain because you played
So
basketball or you played competitive sports. Most of them do hold it in, even in hard moments, right? Like I would have loved to seen Hart fucking, I don't know, throw something into the stands or take his shirt off like Rodman used to or some fucking shit and be like,
go ahead, go ahead.
just anything, just any sign of life outside of the literal physical movements and effort that it takes to play basketball. And maybe I'm wrong.
They're like robots.
Maybe you
They're
should
like
be a PC
robots.
samurai on the court. And maybe that's what's required, but it's lacking something as far as to me it's lacking something, and maybe it's because I'm comparing it to something else, right?
I think
We
the
had
only
the
player
experience
that you
with the
see,
previous
yeah,
generation, and it's not to
uh,
say those players were better. Maybe some were, maybe some weren't. Don't care about that argument, but just the amount of give a shit you could read on the body language in actual actions and expressions of the players back in the 90s and early 2000s is a world different.
uh, I mean, what do you think would happen to SGA back in the early 90s, 2000s? I He's so skinny and
I think
frail,
he'd go about 8 for 27 from the floor, and he might have two free throws.
bro.
Because he went 8 for 27 from the floor last night and had what, like 11 free throws? Go fuck yourself.
Jesus.
I
The
think he's
only
about
player,
an 8 for
the only
27
player,
guy.
the only player that I can think of at the moment that wears his emotions on his sleeves, and is Draymond Green.
How is an SGA Harden 2.0? How isn't this the Rockets? I mean, they have defensive whatever. They're not all, but they all play D and they all shoot threes, whether it's a good shot or not.
Listen, I'm gonna get into something different, but they're
Right.
they're robots, right? They're like fucking little robots, and like nothing phases them, whether it's winning or losing. Even winning, like you hear them speak, it's like an AI. It's like
Oh,
a
hold on.
fucking
Let me say
AI.
something. Let me say something PC. Let me say something politically correct. Congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder on being the NBA Finals champions. You guys deserved it. Look, they might have won even if Halliburton played, but fuck me. Way to rob. Way to rob. I don't know who's. It's nobody's
But
fault,
look,
but I mean, just
when you look across the media landscape, the people who are making the most money, the people who are making them getting the most attention are the non-PC guys, are the guys who are out there saying things that normal people don't say. The Charles Barkleys of the world, the Kenny Smith, the Stephen A. Smith,
you,
they'll come out and
you know
say
what I was
some
just thinking.
outlandish thing, and everybody's like, "Oh my god!" And it's like, what? Like, that's just what? That guy's making millions of dollars because he's saying that. Like, it's not a big deal. He's saying that the guy's trash. Oh, yeah, the big thing is that he says that Halliburton is not a he's not a superstar.
Who said that? Charles Barkley?
Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, who gives a fuck what Stephen A says?
Fucking like, dude, like, so what? What's the big deal,
I'm
dude? They
sorry.
dragged us
PC,
on.
PC. Stephen A is entitled to his opinion that he gets paid to
Oh,
share.
oh my god. Yeah, it's just incredible. It's crazy. It's watching little robots out there. It's like watching. It's everything's so diluted. It's just really fucking annoying.
Do you think it's just a
But like I said,
basketball thing, or has this permeated other sports? I haven't paid attention. The only sports I've
every
paid
sport,
attention to a little bit is MMA a
every
little bit, and I
sport.
stopped watching a couple years ago in basketball.
Every sport. And
Yeah.
I watch basketball, American football, soccer. I don't fucking watch baseball. Uh, the
I heard
main
they shortened the
those.
game somehow or put it. I heard they did something to speed up the games, but I haven't watched
Oh,
baseball.
they've done a couple things to speed up the game. So like the pitcher can't be like, oh, looking left, looking right, playing with his glove, playing with his balls and shit. Oh
It's
yeah. And
baseball,
then he goes,
people.
throws a pitch, gets the ball back, scrubs his dirt, the dirt in his mound, looks around, play with the ball a little bit, do the little ball thing. They can't do that shit no more because they're trying to speed it up. So it's hard. It's hard to find real, man. It's hard to find personality out there. It's really tough. And because these people are trained, they. I
Do
thought about
you?
this today.
Oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going to take this to a different direction. I'm going to give you two scenarios that happened to me this weekend. I'm going to start with the most recent one. Today at my work, and I work at a fitness center for like really, really rich people in Scottsdale, Arizona. So if y'all are from Scottsdale, Arizona, you might know what I'm talking about. I'm not, should I say what the name of it is?
Up to you. I
Nah,
don't.
just leave it. It
Yeah.
doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll make a difference, but it doesn't make a difference. Very well built fitness center. The basketball court, gym, plastic surgery, hot girls walking around everywhere.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there and I'm a fitness counselor, but I give classes uh, to kindergarten to about fourth grade students. They call it a summer camp, right? Where they come in, they play games in the gym, they go swimming, they do different little activities that we set up for them, and then they go home. It's pretty much school. We're pretty much like freaking babysitters, whatever.
It's summer school,
So
kind of
so
like summer
today, getting back
PE
to my
school.
point,
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and they have a huge glass wall that you could see outside right before the people come in, next to the weights and the equipment. And there's this one guy, he's out there. And remember, in Phoenix, Arizona, it's June. It's probably like it's early in the morning, so it's not like later in the afternoon, it will get to about 111, 115. Early in the morning, it's probably about high 90s, 95, 96. Very hot, dried. So this guy is out there and he's just like walking, like doing like lifting exercises with these big, huge dumbbells outside, right? And then he comes back in and he puts it down and shit like that. And then I was just thinking, I was like, and then I look around and I look all these girls, they're like, plastic surgery everywhere. They look like freaking dolls. It's like it's insane. And then I look at the basketball court and I look at the games that the kids are playing, and then I look at the little boy and he's playing soccer and I'm like, man, he's really good. Which takes me back to my second scenario. In the same area last week, I was playing a game and I'm a trash talker, man. I trash talk you. I'll drive you, you know, to see how far I can get away with things and how far I can see that you can take it. So this Caucasian white boy, really big, and he's playing soccer. And I say to him, I'm like, "Where did you learn that? You learned that? You learned that at academy that mommy and daddy paid for you? Like, oh, did you learn that shit at the academy, motherfucker? You know where I learned? You know where I learned football? I learned it on my own. I learned it like kicking the ball against the wall. I learned that by just watching somebody. I never had a private coach. I never had somebody come and tell me this is how you should position yourself. You know what I mean? That's not like old school Brazil. Like that's not how we do it. Like you know what I mean? You pick up a ball as soon as you're a kid. You know what I mean? Like
That's where
you
the
play as a kid.
creativity comes from. That's also missing in today's Brazilian game. But continue.
That's where I'm going. That's right. So hold on. So, you know, there's an industry. There's an industry of privatized sports and coaching.
In
So these
education.
people, right, in education, right? So I'm just talking about sports. These
I consider
players,
sports a form of education.
like for example, basketball. Growing up playing basketball, I never went to a basketball camp. I never had a
I did.
private coach. No, but that wasn't really that was like a tournament. Did you have
Well,
a
no, it was a
private
day camp,
coach?
and
Did you have
I
a
was
private coach come to your
no, yeah,
house
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
grab you rebounds? You
No,
never
no,
had
no,
that.
yeah, never, no, no, never,
Did you
never
have a
did.
private coach come to you? This is how you should dribble the ball. Left, right. I never had that. I mean, you go through that when you're like in a season with your teams, with
Sure,
your team,
yeah,
right? You think you know, I think you understand what I'm going with this.
yeah.
So you learned it in the driveway. You learned it with your friends. You
Before
learned
you
it
got to yeah,
outside.
yeah,
You
yeah.
you know, you I dribble the ball every day to school. You know what I mean? Between my legs, try to do as many as I can. You know what I mean? You figure out things. So you're out in the heat. You're playing. You're shooting. You know what I mean? You're you. you have the elements that you're having to deal with. And then you have the elements of your teammates and trying to figure it out with no adults around, no supervision. You're just there. You're trying, like, you know what I mean? You're just playing. Somebody trash talks you. You can't just be a punk and be like, oh man, he said I went to academy with my the guy picked up his shit and he left. He picked up his stuff and he left. You know what I mean? Oh, you're so mean. Diego, take it easy. Why are you so mean to the guy? Oh, look, he's gonna leave now. What?
That means you win.
What?
You forfeit.
Like, yeah. Like what?
That's
Like
called
what?
victory. Yeah.
Like I'm like, if what I say, like, first of all, the guy was bad. He should never touch a soccer ball in his life. He should be cutting the grass for us. He should painting the lines. He
I
shouldn't be
don't
in the
know him
same
personally.
field,
I'll take what you say
in
at
the
face
same
value.
atmosphere
Mm.
as some of these guys that I play with, man. It is disgusting. It's disgusting. And so I'm like, if back to my point, if you can't if you can't handle the pressure, man, get out of the kitchen. So my whole point is that these kids like today, like they're growing up in a nice, what's it called, air conditioning gym. God, what I love that shit. Air conditioning gym. They can go to the YouTube and like just watch the videos, and the player will show them how to. Dude, you know what I had to do? Like I would record a game. I would sit there and I would just watch, pause, and then the tape would roll up. Take the tape out, fix the tape, take all the bro. Like, you know how easy they have it now? Like, I sound like an old man and
Yeah, you
bitching and
do. You
complaining.
starting to sound like a hater a little bit.
Oh,
I know.
so
I feel
like
your pain, but I don't know what
it's
you do about it.
manufacturing. Look, it's manufacturing talent. These players are manufactured. They're not made anymore. They're not made. They're not self-made. They're made by, like, it's like an
Yeah,
AI. It's like a
yeah.
fucking robot,
That's an excellent point. I like that
right?
point.
It's like it's insane. And then when they get things thrown at, that's why they're so easy to manipulate and easy to be like, okay, you're gonna have a public relations meeting. You're gonna learn how to talk to the media today, dude. That shit comes to second nature to these guys. They're like, dude, I've been trained like a robot my whole life. Like somebody's gonna tell me what to do, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? There's no input. There's nothing. It's a shame. It's a shame because you know what? We're missing out on the essence of what sports is. It's emotion. It's raw fucking emotion. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
it's the
competitive. It's
competitors
competition.
need it's the
People care.
yeah. The
Right. So
competitors need to express himself through victory, yeah? Uh
uh, look
I
at Messi. Look at
no,
Messi.
but the point you made has got me thinking. The point you made that I wanted
I hope it did. I hope it did.
no, I hadn't I don't know if I ever quite thought about it from that particular angle. And so I'm gonna go a little bit I'm just gonna use it as a talking point for a second.
Go ahead.
You
Go
said
ahead.
players today are manufactured and they're not self-made, meaning like Michael Jordan got cut from the JV team. Nobody told his mom and dad didn't say, "Well, honey, we hope you do better next time. Here, you can go to summer camp instead." Blah blah blah.
Let me go talk to that coach. I'm gonna
Yeah,
talk to that coach. Why are you gonna cut my son?
but I would venture a guess that about 90+% of players today in professional leagues have been. First off, one of them. I'm going to stick to NBA for right now because I can speak intelligently about NBA. How many of the best players today are second generation, at least NBA players, meaning daddy played in the NBA?
There's a lot.
The game has shifted from an urban to a suburban mindset. Again, I'm not being judgmental. I'm just making an observation, right?
Right.
Up to you how you want to feel about it. But this players are manufactured. I think a lot of them are. I'm thinking about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander right now. I don't know if he's a manufactured player or if he's self-made. I don't really know a lot about him. I should
Part
probably
of
educate
his
myself
history.
about
Yeah.
him. The other guy that but I know, and I don't even know much about Halliburton. Um, but I know, like for example, what do you call it? When I think about some of these other players, even on my favorite team, Jalen Brunson, his dad was a Knick. Jalen Brunson, I've heard interviews, Patrick Ewing remember seeing little baby Jalen Brunson running around the locker room and stuff. And hey, God bless him. That's cool. Your dad was a Knick, you're a Knick. I'm jealous. Yeah, good for you. My favorite team. Uh, but it's like And if I was a father and I had a son and I was able to guide him towards a similar path, because maybe that's the best I can think to do, right? I'm trying not
Well,
to be judge. Go ahead.
yeah, it's the old, and I see this in my profession all the time. Well, I didn't have it when I was his age. I don't want him to go through what I went through. This is what you hear from parents all the time. But what you went through, that was very important into shaping and molding the person that you are today.
Let me
What
ask
you
you a
went
question. Hold on,
through.
let me ask you a
Go ahead,
question.
go ahead,
I hear what you're saying. And I'm not asking for you to expound on life experiences with this statement, but if you had a son or a daughter, would you want them to go through the exact same things that you went through?
No, no, no two lives are identical.
Sure.
And I
But I'm talking
can't,
about your desire.
it doesn't, I'm telling you, I'm answering this. I'm answering you. No two lives will ever be identical. There's no way that I can manufacture my life and another person's life. So of course, his life would be it would be very different, right? There are there are things there are things that my kid wouldn't have to go through, which is the basic necessities that I would wish, God willing, I would wish that my kid would never have to go through, which is hunger, shelter,
I asked a poor
clothing,
question. 100%. I'm with you, okay?
right?
That's a poor
That
question. I
I
think a better way
no,
to ask a question is this.
go ahead.
What's your favorite sport? The reason why I ask is if your son was to choose that as a favorite sport, how would you guide him if he himself chose to follow that path in competition? What's your favorite sport, by the way? When I say favorite,
I
I
don't
mean
really.
favorite for you to play.
It changes, man. I mean, I love basketball and soccer. I think those are my two favorite sports.
Okay, so
Right?
let's say he plays basketball and soccer. He's a two-sport athlete. You got one of
Right,
Dion's
right,
kids.
right. Okay. If I have a kid, and first of all, I want to gauge and see how much they really really like it, how much they're interested in it, and then to see how much time they're spending in it on their own, on their own, not with me pushing them, right? Not with me pushing them, but on their own. Is he watching it? Is he asking to watch it? Is he constantly searching it out and seeking it out? Those things are going to help me gauge how much investment I need to invest in that child. And and I need to do that at a very young age, right? So at a very young age, I'm not throwing out tactics, I'm not throwing out moves, I'm just throwing out the love of the game. You I want to see how much they really fucking love that shit. And if they do love that shit, okay, here's a basketball I got you for Christmas. You do whatever the hell you want to do with it. You know what I mean? After a while, if after I see, okay, this little dude is serious. Little Diego really wants to be like, really is taking it
You have a
serious.
Diego Jr.?
Like little Diego is outside on the house just dribbling the ball or kicking the ball against the wall 100 times, and my neighbors are complaining about it. Oh shit. Okay, let him do it. Let him go through it. Good. Let him figure that shit out. Right? Let him figure out how to touch, how to pass, how to shoot, how to form the technique. Let him go and search that out himself. You know what I mean? Let him have to handle the elements of the game. Oh, you wanna go play basketball? Okay, I know where there's a basketball spot. I'll drop you off. I'll pick you up after I'm done with work. You figure your way out. You figure out how to get home after that. There's buses that run here. Here's $10. Go figure that shit out. Right? Oh, then you gauge. That's part of gauging and seeing how much they really love the game. Right? And when I see, okay, you're 15 now, you're 11, 12, 11, 12, not 15. I think 15 is too late, depending on the sport.
Hmm.
And if depends of where I'm
Not
living.
too late for Siakam. He started playing in his teens. He was about.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's a unicorn, bro. Like that, like I don't have that kind of
Surprised. I
DNA.
forget how good Siakam is.
He's
He's
very
good.
good. I don't. My family tree doesn't come from that kind of DNA. You know what I'm saying? We have to work. So 11, 12. Okay, I can tell that he's a little serious. He's very serious about this. Let me show him what I know, and then let me put him in situations that I was never put in that could have helped me. That could have helped me develop myself. You know what I mean? And then we go from there. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. The only thing I was thinking about
How about you?
doing
Let's
that.
turn it around on you. Let's turn
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
around on
for
you.
sure, for sure. Um, Before I answer, I just want to say real quickly, give credit to the dads because those other NBA dads might have done something very similar to what you expressed. I don't know what goes on behind the
We
scenes.
don't know. We don't know.
I know, according to a lot of social scientists, if the father's in the home and there's a son, you can predict the son's career with about 90% accuracy just based on knowing what the father does for a living. So I'm not saying, I'm not, because I don't want to necessarily tie one thought to another, saying a lot of players are manufactured, this, that, and the other. Maybe some of these players were trained by their dads, and their dads also trained them about the pitfalls of living in a world where if you say the wrong thing, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, right? If you say the wrong thing, maybe you get your paycheck taken away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't want to sound too critical. I'm not in their shoes. I'm just saying
Okay,
what
so
I
go back and
enjoyed.
answer your question that you
Yeah.
threw at
Okay.
me.
So the question, to be clear, I'm gonna paraphrase my own question back to me, right? Because you were too lazy to come up with your own question. The question was, how would I guide my child if they decided to pursue a sport that I also felt passionate about? And I'll use basketball as an example. I gonna sound like a poser because same like you, I don't want to care more about it than the kid does. Oh, you like basketball? Sure, I'll buy you a basketball. I'm a good enough dad to buy you a basketball. Oh, Dad, I don't have a hoop. Can we put up a hoop at the house? Yeah, I'll get it next weekend. For now, you can go to the park and play, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then come back and tell me the cry story about somebody fucking stole your ball and fucking called you a piece of shit. And like, okay, you want to keep playing? I'll put up the rim. You and me can play. I'll play him once and then let him
Yeah.
do his own. But yeah, you have to let this. And this is one of the things that I see being involved in modern day private education is that kids almost have no unsupervised time anymore. They're
Right.
constantly going from one supervised setting to another. Parents at home,
Yeah.
babysitter, school, extracurricular activities. There's no, like you're talking about, I kick the ball against the wall, go see what the kids at the park are doing, whatever. There's no time to be creative and develop your own autonomy as a person.
Your own
Uh,
personality, your own being,
yeah.
and
And there's
look,
no,
look,
yeah,
look,
nobody
look what
telling
they're
you.
getting. Look what they're getting out of it. Besides the game itself,
Yeah. So
that's yeah.
I think you and I are just going to preach to each other's choirs on this. Is there anything you want me to expound on that? Because I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, I think we are. I think we're just
This is where it helps to have another puto in the conversation because sometimes when you agree with the other person, there's nothing there's nothing to contrast it to, right? So,
right. So
all
let's
right.
get back. Let's get back. We can get back to the modern day athlete. And I thought about manufacturing consent from Noam Chomsky, and I thought about manufacturing talent. You know what I mean? Like when you see a beautiful girl, right? Which one looks better to you? Is it the one who is naturally beauty? She doesn't need no makeup. She's walking down. She looks gorgeous. She looks beautiful, Or is it the one that has the Brazilian butt lift or the fake breast implants,
You
the
remember going to the
Botox
reggae
that,
clubs in Arizona when we used to live at Dave's?
yeah, I think so.
You
I've heard of
remember a
it.
guy named Buju Banton? There's a song you
No,
can't
I
even
don't.
find it on streaming platforms anymore, more called Boom Bye Bye. And in it he
Yeah,
says in his Jamaican Creole, "Woman is the greatest thing God ever put upon the land." Right? All women are
right.
beautiful. These people chopping parts off and plasticifying stuff. That's on you. You got something inside that makes you feel ugly.
Absolutely. Like there's some
I don't want to
some
be
crazy
I don't want to be
psychosis
sexist or
happening.
whatever, but I seen beautiful girls with flat chests. I seen beautiful girls with big breasts. I seen them with everything in between. Like there's not a physical type that's the most beautiful in my mind, right? It's how the woman carries herself.
No,
Yeah.
but my point is mentioning the beautiful girl and the manufacturer girl is that when you see a player that's been been that is self-taught, that has all those values that we talk about, that has a personality, that is himself, You know what I mean? It is very easy, especially nowadays. It is very easy to recognize that player. But when you see the player that's been manufactured, that's been told how to talk, how to handle press, how to handle their emotions, have been taught and grilled
It
on those
feels
things.
prepackaged. And again, it's not a judgment against the player
Absolutely.
or the person.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, and you could take this back to the initial foundations of a player of when they're being, like you said, constant supervision, right? Constant coaching, having to tell them, this is how you dribble with your left hand. You dribble with your fingertips. Nobody needed to tell me that. I figured it out. You figured it out. Let them figure things out and don't be afraid of the consequences. I think that's what happens is that adults, grown-ups, parents, they're afraid of the consequences. They're afraid that they might be that loud spoken kid or something like that, that a kid might show a little bit of emotions. And
Well, and you're talking
that's what I
about
would
human
love to get back
insecurity
to.
too.
Huh?
You're talking about human insecurity as well. I mean, it's going to be hard for a
But it
parent.
always hasn't been this way. I
No,
think
you're right.
the
Like you're thinking of you know, not rough love, but tough love, meaning like mommy and daddy don't do everything for you, right? Some shit you
right,
gotta figure out on your own. And sometimes
right.
as a parent, you gotta have enough faith in the universe to step back and let the kid fuck up a little bit.
Absolutely. You're not going to neglect the kid and not show up for
No,
like
yeah,
three
I'm
days
not
and then
telling
show
you to
up.
neglect the kid.
Nobody's telling you guys that, all right? You still take care of your kid. You love him. You tell him you love him. You tell him, make him feel important. That's all good and dandy. But there's times that you got to step back and let him handle it. Let him figure it out. Oh, he got in a fight. Okay, let him figure it
Sometimes
out.
baby
But,
bird got to jump out of the nest on their own, and if they hit the ground hard, well, go pick them up later.
and,
It's fine.
we can get even deeper with this. I think because women, I think like the last statistics that I saw, like 50% of women in America are single.
Do you think we have a bias because we have potentially you and I a lack of male role models in our lives?
No, I think I have a bias because I work in education.
Well, it's a good place to place your bias.
Yeah, and
I have the
you
same
see the
bias. I also work in education.
yeah, you see these extremes, too much nurturing and coddling, to not enough,
Right.
absolute neglect, coming into class with Cheeto hands, you know. So yeah,
Yeah, good stuff.
it's crazy. But anyways, let's get back to the series. What did you think about the series? How did you feel about it? How
My
did
feely
you feel
feels,
about it
my
in that
feely
moment?
feels inside. I was bummed out. I was just fucking pissed off, and some of it came
You're
out
just
as
like
hate.
Daniel Clausen, you're just stealing my answers, bro.
I I can't help it. It's what I asked the question first. You too lazy to come up with your own damn question. So I'm just answering my
That's
question
fair.
from earlier.
Uh,
Yeah.
all right.
But
Go ahead.
so do you want to ask a new question or do you want me to answer my own?
No, answer that. I want to hear how you feel
I was
about it.
bummed out. I felt gypped too because I was I could handle the Pacers losing. And it's fine. The Pacers might have lost anyways. But this is just and I heard this. I watched a podcast after the game last night because I was doing something on the computer. And do you ever listen to Bill Simmons? He's a
Oh, the guy that's anti-religious and shit.
no,
The
no, I
yeah,
don't know if he is anti-religious or not. He loves the Celtics. I know that about him.
Bill Simmons. Bill Simmons. Celtics.
White-haired
Oh
white
no,
dude.
I'm thinking about Bill Maher.
No, 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 no. This guy's he's a podcaster for sports. He
Okay.
talks about different sports, I think. I only ever listen to him talk about basketball because I don't pay attention to a lot of other sports, and he doesn't know a lot about football. I'm trying to get back into international football a little bit. In any case, he said this is one of the seasons where, like, when you think of the 2025 NBA season, you almost think of the Pacers first before you think of Oklahoma City, even though they were the champions.
It's a Cinderella story, right? People like underdogs.
Well, but the clock really did struck midnight, and it just it sucks that Halliburton didn't get to finish the game. I don't know what would have happened. One thing I did think about, and they brought up too last night, was this is almost the exact same thing that happened to Kevin Durant when he tore his Achilles in the finals. He had the calf sprain.
I remember.
Everybody
I
was
remember.
like, "Whoa, whoa! If you really care about basketball, you're gonna play." And guess who's not playing next year?
Uh, yeah,
And
it's
and
insane.
maybe if you would have told Tyrese Halliburton, "Hey, there's a risk you're gonna miss a whole year, but there's a chance we could win Game 7." I don't know. Maybe he still would have played. The
I
guy seems
I'm
like he
pretty
cares.
sure. Listen, these people. I think these people are smart enough. I'm pretty sure somebody was telling them that.
Yeah.
And the pressure.
Well, they make
Would you
enough
make the same
money that
decision? What
they
decision would you make?
shit, bro. Well, I kept on, I had to have surgery when I was in high school. I kept on
I didn't
dislocating my
ask
knee.
you
It
that.
happened multiple times. I kept playing, and then every time it came out, I missed a week. I missed one or two games, and then I got back in. It is. I know I didn't have a horrible injury like he had, but it it was bad enough that it screwed up. It screwed up a fair amount of my continuity in the sport.
You also have to feel bad for the Thunder because
For the
for the
Thunder,
rest of their lives, that asterisk is gonna go with their championship.
uh,
Okay, you won, but they didn't have their whole squad.
I'm not taking it that far. I don't like to think
Not,
of
no,
asterisks.
not you, but general fans. I
Yeah,
think
yeah. Some might.
assholes like
The
me,
Oklahoma City Thunder were the best team all year long,
they
and
were.
they won the championship. So
They're assholes.
it's not my favorite way to watch basketball, but they're a good team.
It's
They might be
it's
the best team in the
successful.
NBA.
All right. So let's see what's the update on what's going on with
Iran bombed a U.S. military base in Qatar.
yes, I just seen that. I think it was about 5 hours ago. Uh what
I
does
thought
the
about
US
when I
do
flew
now?
over here on Qatari Airways, like in the Ukrainian plane, they got shot down. The what do you call it? The private commercial plane that got shot over Ukraine.
Uh,
Like I just think when these things happen,
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
how does private air traffic, commercial air traffic deal with war zones like this? Because that's a pretty that particular area of the world is a pretty what do you call it? A pretty high volume flight traffic area.
High
Yeah.
traffic yeah. So
On a
with
side
that,
note, if you ever go through Qatari airport and you go through customs, you will never meet a single Qatari. It's all immigrants working in the airport.
oh no, I believe it. It's
You don't have to.
indentured
Well, yeah, you
servitude.
can believe it if you want, but
It's indentured servants. I believe it. Yeah,
absolutely.
I've done my studies, and
Kudos
none
to
of them
our
have the same
Emirati
rights
and
as
Qatari brothers for
none
indenturing
of them have the
people.
same rights as any Qatari princes and sheikhs. As even if they were born in Qatar themselves, I heard.
Native, yeah, well, native born and Qatari citizens are almost Qatari and Emirati citizens, I think, are outnumbered by foreign nationals in both countries.
In their own country.
Yeah, yeah. It's a
Yeah,
little bit off
it's
topic, but we're talking about
yeah, no, but it's funny because I said this today to I was talking to this girl and I was telling them a story when I was because we were talking about immigration or something like that, and I said to one of my Mexican friends, I'm like, dude, what has Mexicans ever contributed to the world? And they're like,
corn.
this is a Chicano, this is Chicano, descendants of Mexicans, right? And they were like, oh, I don't know, I guess nothing, man. I'm like, look
My
around you, bro. Look around you. None of this shit exists. This is built by Mexican, Latino, Central American labor. Everything was it was not financed, right? It was not engineered, like it wasn't planned engineered by engineers, maybe Mexicans, but the labor itself, the people who put the bricks one by one, who build the whole thing, like that's you guys. Like you are responsible for everything. Who cuts your yard? Who mows your lawn? Who babysits your kids? You know what I mean? Who builds these huge complexes? You know what I mean? And you don't have to go very far to to go down the street and you see who's working on those, you know?
Let me ask you a
And the guy
question.
he didn't understand. I'm like, you should be fucking proud of that, you know?
I agree with you. I think you should take pride in your work, whatever it is. If you do honest work and it's productive work, I mean, if you're an engineer and you're designing bridges for people to build, there's just as much honor in one profession as the other. Yeah.
Right.
So I think I
But
can
they're not equal. I don't think they're equal in the credit that they take. I don't think
sure, but we're talking about something outside of purely labor. We're talking about cultural values. And that's what
right.
the question I was going to ask you
Okay,
is
go ahead.
you bring that up and do you think uh do you think the let me see if I can phrase this question in a way that's legitimate, right? Do you feel like these these professions that provide what you might call some big picture ideas, right? Setting up infrastructure like brick. Okay, there's an engineer who wants to design a bridge. That's a big picture idea, right? Yes or no?
Right.
Can we agree on that?
Right. Like highways, bridges, and things like that.
I
Sure.
just want to keep it simple. A bridge.
Go, go, go.
We got a mountain, there's a ravine. We got to build a bridge. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't have to, but we want to build a bridge. We've got a Roman mindset. We want to go in straight lines. We want to build a bridge. Yes?
Yeah. I'm
Right.
gonna go straight lines.
We don't have to build a bridge. We can walk down into the valley and come back out on the other side. It's fine. There's more than one way
That's
to get from point A to point B, but we're talking straight lines right now. Our culture values straight lines. North American culture, at least on the surface, likes straight lines. Am I wrong?
no, no, you're not wrong. I can't argue that.
Okay. So both the engineer and the laborers are benefiting from this straight line mindset in the fact that they both have work, they both earn something from that, right? However, the culture values one more than the other.
Right.
And now we're not talking about the engineer, and now we're not talking about the laborers who built the bridge, but we're talking about culture and the value they assign to each.
To each.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that there is a harmful effect in what appears to be? And so I'm making an assumption here, so you can tell me if you think my
Okay. Okay.
assumption's good, bad, whatever. Do
Okay.
you think that there's a negative effect to us collectively and individually, or however you want to define the negative effect of maybe valuing the engineer more than the laborer?
Absolutely. And yeah, of course there's a negative effect in that because we don't value the true. For me, I see the people who are picking up the bricks, who are putting themselves at risk, who are the majority. I see them as much more valuable than the person who drew up the plan and then gave it to some managers and some contractors to go to send some other people in harm's way in order to build that thing, right? So I don't think we value that enough, which is the point that I was getting to with my friend.
When you say we,
That
be specific about the
I
we.
think I'm thinking about American society, European society, general society. I think you can expand throughout the world probably. Is there any country that really values labor,
Look,
that values
I
these
think
people?
I think there are
They
some
value.
cultures that
Go ahead.
value labor more than others and value the collective value of labor in general. I think there are some indigenous cultures like that. Um, but and I think there are some there are some pockets. Maybe I would call it subcultures in certain places that do value labor and see the laborer as valuable, or if not more valuable. To use your terms and your opinion there. I think it does exist, but I don't think it's the dominant view in any
It's
major
it, it's
civilization.
not. They're going to give credit to the capitalist, to the person. For example,
Well,
last night when we watched the basketball game, right? Uh, the first person to raise up the trophy, the person that spoke the first before the players, before anybody else, was the team owner,
I
right?
didn't. I shut it off about 2 minutes ago. I didn't want to watch the
Yeah,
ceremony.
the team owner was the one that was up in the podium before anybody. He never played a game in his life. He's not selling the popcorn. He's not selling the tickets. He's
This
just he's just putting the money out there.
side topic. I watched a movie last night I never saw before. After I watched the game, I watched a movie called Foxcatcher. Have you seen
Okay,
it?
no.
The movie is about two brothers who were wrestlers. They were
All right, let
Olympic
me.
wrestlers from the U.S. They kind of moved around a lot. Mark Schultz and Dave Schultz. Dave Schultz was the older brother. Mark Schultz, who was kind of like the legend and kind of coached his younger brother, Mark Schultz. Well, Mark Schultz got invited to stay on the estate of John DuPont of the DuPont family, the chemical company DuPont, to stay there and train, etc. And I'm gonna give a spoiler away. I'm gonna give a real short version. Do you care if I spoil the movie?
I was gonna watch it, but
No, then I won't. Then watch it.
Don't get me the spoils. Yeah.
No, then I don't
But
want to say
make your
anymore.
point without. Can
But
you make
what
your
you just
point?
said about the owner, if you watch
Okay.
this,
You understand? Okay. A little light will come on. Okay, I'll watch
no,
it.
the light's already on, but you'll just see it even brighter. Eh,
But I think you know where I was going with this because I think this this whole idea of a small group of people can take the credit, can take the wealth, while the rest of the majority who are responsible for building that wealth is not giving credit, is not giving the wealth, is giving them the minimum amount.
but
You
here's
know
the
what I
thing.
mean? Go
So,
ahead.
so I don't disagree with you. I'm just going to give not a moral justification, but a capitalistic justification for why,
Oh, I was waiting for that to come up.
right?
Go ahead.
So, why does the dominant culture value the engineer in my bridge building example over the laborers? How much did the engineer pay to be an engineer?
Because he's the one that's giving out the capital in order to
Paying to the
start the
educational
whole thing.
system, which is private
Right,
enterprise as well. And how much do
right,
the laborers pay to be laborers? I'm not saying it's fair, but I'm
right.
saying why the culture maybe gives weight to one more than the other because, hey, that guy paid $60,000 a year to go to my school and get the degrees we blah, blah, blah him so he could build a bridge. The
Because
laborers didn't pay me shit.
that is the system that we live under. And you talked about earlier that there are other cultures that do not have the same viewpoint, that values the collective instead of the individual, that values the laborers who are much, many more,
Now, to
rather
be
than
clear, for
the
anybody who might be
capitalists.
listening to me, I've read Marx. I'm not a Marxist. I'm not a communist. I don't even know if I'm a socialist.
What
Uh,
are you?
it's very hard for me to. I don't find that I have an
You don't
ideological home when it
pigeonhole
comes
yourself?
to. I don't have an ideological home when it comes to Western politics. If you ask me about individual issues, I can tell you where I stand. There's a lot of them, right? But
Well, where do you stand on the issue that we're talking about labor and who should be getting?
look, I personally feel like education shouldn't be so expensive if you
It's not
want.
education. We're just
Well,
very
I'm trying to
simple
answer your
rudimentary.
question. Just I'm
Okay,
using the
go
bridge
ahead.
example
My
because
bad, my bad.
we've
Go.
been. I'm using the bridge example because I want to keep coming back to the same thing because you guys tell me I wander sometimes. So I use the bridge example. Okay, the engineer and the laborers, right? It's a systemic thing because it involves everybody's salary is going to come down, including the engineers, the professors, the administrators, the everything. But if you want to be an engineer, do it because you love to do it and you're a big picture person, not because you want more credit or more this and that. We all
Ideally,
find
ideally.
ideally, yeah. I'm not against free market. You want to work more and you got a better idea, you should be rewarded.
Mm.
Innovation, if it's good for society, should be rewarded. But then society as a culture has to weigh the innovation against the costs of innovations,
What are we innovating to? Where are we trying to head to?
Well, no,
You know
that's
what I
what I'm
mean?
saying. Some
That's
some
another point to address, but keep going.
Yeah, yeah. So this goes culture by culture, and I often find myself a guest in most cultures, so I'm often alleviated of even having to have an opinion, right? I just have to
Mm.
worry about being a good guest most of the time. What's funny is in Brazil, take this with a grain of salt, but compared to most other countries I've visited, I don't have to be quite as good a guest in Brazil as I am in other countries.
What do you
Sorry,
mean by
Brazil.
that?
I'm happy to be here, but it is what it is. You follow what I'm
Okay.
saying?
No, I understand what you're saying in the face of it,
I looked
but
up I looked up a strange statistic last night that occurred to me. I almost don't want to talk about it, but
go. Well, if you don't want to talk about this is the podcast that you have to talk about
no,
it
no, no,
now.
I don't.
There's no
I'll tell
fat
you
boy around.
I'll tell
Don't
you
be a
about it
dick.
off. I'll tell you about it off camera.
Oh, come on, dude.
I'll tell you about it off
You're gonna
camera.
do this? You're gonna censor yourself?
You can bring it up as if it was your own idea next time.
Oh my God. Okay, fine. Jesus. You guys heard it. The first one.
Yeah, I'm self-censoring.
Okay.
You're gonna look at
Damn.
me like a piece of shit when you tell you what I say because it's not a big deal when I'm self-censoring. But
Then
you're gonna
why
be like,
not say
really?
it now?
Huh? No, I
Then
just
why not
I
just
choose
bring
to
it up?
self-censor. I am an American citizen. I know my rights. I plead the fifth.
You were. You were.
I still am. I can show you my passport. I just don't want to share personal information online.
Dude, passwords don't mean anything anymore.
It's
Trump,
true. It's true. Just a
ask
piece
Mr.
of
Donald.
paper. Dude,
Ask Mr.
during the pandemic, I was living in Indonesia and in Australia, which is kind of a neighbor. I heard a lot of news. Australians wouldn't even let their own citizens return because they were afraid of COVID so much, which is a violation of the UN Human Rights Convention of right of return. You're an Australian citizen, they wouldn't even let their own citizens return during the quarantine
Ah,
period.
look who's leaning back against international law and international
I told you I
ethics and
don't really believe in
policies and shit.
international law. It's
Well, but
just
you just quoted it.
I'm quoting, I'm exposing the hypocrisy by quoting it.
We know that there's
Australia has
hypocrisy
always
even in it.
Australia has always claimed to be respectful of international law, but they violated it even against their own citizens. That's how committed they were to tyranny. I'm being a little melodramatic, but it's pretty shitty if you're in the look because I got fired right when the pandemic started, and I was in a foreign country. You remember this? I was
Am I
telling
allowed
you
to
guys.
laugh? Am I allowed to laugh at people
You
being
can laugh.
fired?
It's funny.
It's in the
It's funnier
past, so it
now.
is funny.
It's funnier now. Like, how many of you were in a foreign country when working and living in a foreign country when COVID came, and then you lost your job when the lockdown started? And I was like, "What the
Put it
good?"
down in the comments, guys. We want to hear it.
Yeah,
All
put it
right,
in the
let's see.
comments, all the fans that we don't have. What the good God
We'll get
motherfucker?
some.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what
Somebody's
they.
gonna
I'm
watch
gonna
this.
give you a real short version. My boss came. Now I had a 1 year contract. And I wasn't sure if I was gonna stay with this English school I was with in Indonesia. I'm not gonna name names of the school right now, but it's very easy to find out. In any case, um, my senior teacher manager at the time was very close with the ownership group, and he was asking me if I wanted to. And this was like towards the end of the year, before anyone had even started hearing about COVID, like around December-ish. Was asking me if I thought I was going to sign up for another year, and I said, "Look, I'm enjoying teaching more than I thought. I'm not enjoying Jakarta as much as I would like. I didn't like living in the city there, and I was eager to explore some other parts of Indonesia. And I wasn't actually really seriously with Linda yet. I had met her, but we had a period where we like met, but we didn't go out for like a month or two.
You were
Um,
still in the scumbag stage.
yeah, I don't have to explain what that is to you. Uh,
Well, scumbag says it all. Scumbag says it all. We are all scumbags. We've been in a scumbag stage. I have actually
I'm
been
just
in
happy
the
that
scum. I have
my
been in the scumbag stage with you, so I absolutely know what you're saying.
I'm just happy that my dad didn't use a scumbag when he got close to my mom. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here to tell you about what a scumbag I am. All right. So
Stupid.
I lost my train of thought. Oh, okay. So finally I came around and I said, you know what? I'm gonna resign. I'll stay at this school another year because I figured one more year and I'd figure a lot more out in that time and I'd find a spot. I'd go on vacation. I had a little bit of money saved. I was like, I'll go on vacation somewhere in Indonesia and I'll pick my next spot and then I'll go there next year. Yeah, because I was liking Indonesia. Um, so I handed in my
Resignation.
contract signed at the end of January, last week in January. And if you remember, lockdown 2000, when COVID was 2020 when it started, right? And they started closing everything down in March 2020. End of January, I had gave them the contract and they sat on it for a month and never returned it to me with my new agreement or whatever. And I didn't think anything of it because it was regular life. If they would have told me something, I could have just gone to the school next door or whatever. It wasn't lockdown world yet. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Uh, and then all of a sudden, first week in March, we're hearing all this stuff, and then they say we're going online and da 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 da, and I was like, oh shit. So I was like, I even asked my boss about a weekish or two before. I'm like, hey, I never got my contract back. I'm like, are they gonna send that to me? He's like, oh yeah, they're gonna send it to you by next week. Blah blah blah. Next week we go online, da da da, and when everybody's back home in the lockdown, my boss calls me and tells me they're not gonna renew my contract. And I was like, I definitely fucking dropped a lot of F-bombs. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? He's like, look, we know this is a bad situation to be in, and the owners are prepared to pay for a ticket for you to go all the way back to the US. And I was like, I didn't fucking come from the US. I came from the Philippines. I'm not trying to get a plane ticket back to the US. Yeah. I said, plus, even if I wanted to go back to the US, I'm gonna fucking travel the world in this fucking insane, never heard of before circumstance. I said, I'm gonna get trapped in a third country. That's definitely happened to people, right? I'd rather just stay right here because I got an apartment, I know some people, and I used to have a job. Yeah. Uh, and so I'll give credit. This guy helped me get another job. It took about a weekish or two, and it was a stressful couple of weeks, but he helped me find another job. So Riquito, thanks. Uh, and the rest is history. But why did I bring that up? I lost my train of thought. I was trying to make a point.
It happens to me all the time.
Shit. You didn't
We were
interrupt
talking
and I
about the
just fucking
bridge and the
lost my
straight
second.
lines and laborers, and from there we went to I completely forgot. We're gonna have to go back to this podcast and listen
Yeah,
to it
shit.
over
All right.
again.
Well, I'm sorry. Jesus fuck. I
uh,
was going somewhere with that story. At least I thank Riquito for helping me find a job. Um,
well, that's good. At least you should give a shout out to somebody who helped you find a job.
eh, I
Thank
mean,
you,
that's
Mr.
always
Ricky. Ah, anyways, so how much time we got here? I think
up
we're
to
going
you.
overboard.
I think the game starts at 11. Let me check real quick.
What game? It's already started. I'm
Oh, it
watching
did?
it. Well, not watching it, but it's on the TV. Uh, but
Look, I didn't have anything to say tonight. I just
no,
wanted to
that's
get
fine. I think
on.
we did good. But tell me how much time is have we been on?
I think we've been on for about an hour.
You could see
Uh,
on the thing, but I don't know.
I gotta move it around. I'm recording it. There's no clock on it. So I have
All
two
right.
options when I record. I can record to the cloud or I can record to the computer. I stopped
Okay.
recording to the cloud. I'm gonna fucking change that because after I record to the cloud, I have to keep paying for this. I already have a VPN service. So
Right.
I just save everything to the VPN because I'm definitely gonna keep using that more than I use Zoom.
Does does your VPN work?
No.
Well, okay.
Yes
What do
and
you mean it
no.
doesn't?
Yes and no. I have a lot of issues, and so there's a couple things that's happened lately that's been fucking my browsing up. I've downloaded a VPN, and for my work, I've downloaded a couple of browser extensions that help my job figure out analytics from websites that I visit. Um, I don't want to go too much into detail about it, but
No, because
sometimes,
I have this. The reason I ask is because I have this. I'm not gonna give specific either. I have this streaming TV service um, app that when I do go back to Brazil, it doesn't work because it doesn't recognize
oh, but
like because of the
technology.
VPN.
There's one point I do want to make before we end the show, and you're gonna
Oh,
laugh. Yeah, can you wait for a
yeah.
second?
Go.
So,
Oh my God. What is he doing?
most of the time when I'm done using my laptop, most of the time when I'm done using my laptop, I close it
Right.
because I don't want the camera still on, even if the computer's off.
Oh,
Right?
most people do that. Most people understand that. That's true.
Do most people understand that?
Uh, I don't know. I guess I give most people credit.
I don't
Probably
think the
not.
new, we're talking about generation gap too. I don't think a lot of new generation gap. In any case, the machines are always listening to you. One day Skynet will take over. Yeah. Um, I haven't said the word that I will tell you in a minute. I haven't said the word in, I don't know, months, maybe years.
Uh-huh.
But Linda bought something and left it in camera view of my laptop. And then
And you
all of a
left
sudden
it
on my
open.
YouTube feed, I got a commercial for that very same thing. And that very same thing was a very specific thing called Selena Gomez Oreo.
Shit. Oh my God.
I didn't even know Selena Gomez Oreo was a thing. Congratulations, Selena
Wow.
Gomez, for getting that Oreo money. You popped up in my YouTube feed because somebody's paying the cameras to fucking watch me. I don't appreciate it.
Wow. This has happened to me as well. Like I'll be talking like on a side or something, and all of a sudden I get like all these advertisements for whatever that product that I was talking about or something like that. It would show up on YouTube. It
You ever
would
read the
show
book
up like,
1984?
hold on a second.
I'm sorry, 1980. Oh, shit box.
There it is.
It's not an American movie, folks. There's not a happy ending.
So yeah, I'm looking at my book library here. Yeah, it's right there. Uh, oh, I want to get back to. I haven't read. I stopped reading for a little bit. I was reading this a little bit.
What do you got? I can't
Can
see
you
the.
see
I
it?
can't see it.
Oh, you
I saw
can't
the
see
other one.
it. Called The Meritocracy Trap.
No, I haven't seen it.
Let's
I
talk
started
about
reading the
meritocracy.
book that your brother bought me a book while he was in Chile. And I started reading it. But I haven't finished it yet. It's not a very long book, but it's called Los Niños Huachos en la
Oh, okay.
Historia de Chile.
Okay, okay, nice. Yeah, I like history and I like that kind of stuff.
So yeah,
Yeah.
you got to finish reading that one. Maybe I'll
Shit,
have
man, I
something
have
more to
some
talk
books
about.
here.
Got anything else
Uh,
on your mind you want to talk about tonight before we I think
no,
we're
I'm good.
getting
I
in our
just get
times a little bit.
I just get more interested when I look at my books here. Uh, because it's they're right next to me.
Are
How
you
Jesus
excited
became.
about the grand premiere of Você Ele e Eu's first public video?
Uh, I don't know. I'm indifferent to it. People like it, people like it. I'm not doing it for people. I just enjoy the talks. Um, but I'm interested to see what kind of reaction we might get to it. Just that, but
Well, if nobody sees it,
I'm
we
not
get
at
no
this
reaction.
point.
So the question is, how do we get the video seen?
Oh, I could just put it up on my YouTube and then
Good
leave
job.
it open. And that's all I know. I'm sure there's a if you're watching this and you're like a geek tech expert and there's oh, this is what's gonna happen right now. You
Hmm.
listen to me.
Hmm.
Whatever social media you have, there's gonna start coming up, popping up how-to videos, how to get your videos liked and things like that. The same way that Selena Gomez. Let's see if that
Yeah,
happens. I want to see if
yeah,
that
you
happens
might be
because I'm
right.
pretty sure
I don't have
it's
much
gonna pop
social
up.
media. This is my social media, no joke. Uh,
Right. Okay.
WhatsApp, which I consider social media.
I've been trying to delete mine, but I deleted my
YouTube, I have YouTube, and
okay.
but I don't post anything on my account. I just use it to watch videos. And LinkedIn, and I have LinkedIn for my job.
Damn. Okay. All right. Oh, is LinkedIn really
And
so
none of them
bad?
got my slave names on it, so
Oh, that's cute. Your slave name. All right, Malcolm.
it's El Haj Malik Shabazz. Slut.
Sorry. Haj Malik is your best. But all right, man. So let's finish this.
All right. This is the wrap up. We have nothing witty or charming. I have nothing witty or charming to say. Peace out, Diego.
I'm gonna say what Michael Jordan said. I can accept failure. Everyone fails at something, but I can't accept not trying. Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Out.
Bitch.
Drop the mic.